What types of things would you guys be looking for as scouts to kind of give you a little more insight into the personalities and the background of some of these players off the field?
Well, you have to remember that my time with the Red Sox, yes, there was a push for data, but it was early on. So a lot of our staff were, groomed baseball people, and there weren't too many, non-groomed baseball people. So even back then, it was a lot of great coaches and scouts who had all decades of experience. So there was still this push from the front office, but I got to experience, what the scouts were looking for, what the coaches, the player development staff were looking for, and it was it's different than it is now. And in terms of scouting, I mean, you're looking at everything, and that's the whole thing. If we put the data aside, you're looking at everything. And something that I saw online recently really spoke to me because I think it's a good point. It was kind of an advice to a young scout, and the advice was this, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember it exactly. But the idea was, look, put the radar gun down, put the camera down, because if you're focusing on that, you're missing everything that's going on around the game, right? Same thing, which I don't know about if you've heard this, but there's actually people who are hired as scouts to watch games remotely. And I so am against that. Here's why. Because when you're scouting, you want to evaluate not what that particular person is doing at their particular moment of performance. So, for example, you're not looking at the batter at the moment they're batting, or you're not looking at the center fielder just when the ball gets hit to them. You're looking at them between innings. What are they doing? You know what I mean? Like I remember Paul O'Neill, right? Growing up as a Yankee fan, between innings, he's practicing his swing, right? That's dedication. Then you understood when he would, be up to bat and he failed. Baseball's, you're failing more than you're succeeding. But when he failed, he would get so angry. But why? Because you could tell between the innings when he's on the field in right field, you could tell that he has that passion for hitting. So those little things, are you watching them kind of, are they jogging off the field between innings? Are they committed? How are they in the clubhouse? So if you're just watching to record video, or you're watching, on TV, you're only going to get the camera angles. You're not going to get all the ancillary stuff that plays into the overall complete picture of the player, right? So you might
Yeah.
have some really shitty players in terms of personality and people, who they are. They have some great stats. If you're just relying on the data, it's not going to tell you this guy's not going to have success because he's going to rub people the wrong way, right? He's going to rub not only his teammates, his coaches, the front office, the fans. And so you want to know all of that. And so I think that's the great divide between understanding the big picture, the complete picture, versus understanding just, a small segment of it, what the data tells you. Because if I'm constructing a team, do I want just all players who are great, have great numbers? No, I want people who are going to be able to blend together because it's team sports, right? Unless you're in an individual sport, it's a team sport. So you got to have great example of that. And I always bring this up is Major League Two. Remember that movie?
Yes.
I remember Parkman. Parkman was a great player. Everybody hated him, right? So that's a great example of data analytics tells you sign Parkman, but then he was a shitty player in the clubhouse. Nobody liked him. They had to trade him. That's a great example for me in a microcosm of focusing just on data versus the bigger picture. And especially here in as it relates to scouting and young players, there's a lot of things that you have to consider as well. And I remember having this conversation while I was with the Red Sox with the international players. Here's the thing: when it comes to, I'm going to use this as an example. Dominican players, right? In the Dominican, a lot of players who are following a career in baseball are doing it to take their family out of poverty. So their family sees them as this like figure. I had a player who they used to call Papa, which is like father. This was a 15-year-old kid that his own mom called him father, right? So when that player gets signed and comes to the US and has a ball, right? And is doing things off the field that he probably shouldn't be doing, and he's out there having fun and staying up late. Think about it this way: his parents didn't discipline him or instill discipline when he was younger. Now he's in a foreign country with all this access. So to label that guy as a bad person or someone who's not dedicated is wrong because you're not looking at the big picture, right? You're not looking at, well, do we have to help them get more discipline? Yes. because he's a product of the environment we're putting him in. And you can't expect a 15 and a 16-year-old to learn how to do that without guidance. So our job is to guide them.